do here.
So you do this after the mattress?
What?
You do this after the mattress?
No, I go from the mattress test back into the living room. I show them the dirty water from the mattress, and then what do we do next?
Just continue your demo.
I usually switch out the water.
No, just leave them. That takes too much time.
Yeah,
if you change the water every time, just let it all collect and get dirtier and nastier through the whole thing. Okay? They're going to remember each segment. Every time you put your light on the bowl, they're going to have a burned-in image in their brain.
So you do the mattress demo and then the...
All right. So after you did the mattress, after I did the mattress test, right?
Yeah.
So we did the air wash. Well, I see what you're saying. Yes, the vac kill is next, sort of. All right, so we're going to flip the page. In my book, the way it is, it says using traditional tools are really ineffective. Okay? If we've ever used a broom, or I usually say, if we were all using a broom right now, all the dust would fly into the ear, yes? Yes. Okay? I want to say it that way because I want them to understand that nobody can use a broom better than another person. Okay? It's just the way the tool works. Now, how about a feather duster? That's just going to scatter the dust around too. Like the book said earlier, if we really want something clean, we have to use water, exactly. Okay? And get them to agree with you again. This is how you guys make it really easy on yourself, is getting the commitments from the customers instead of making your job hard and having to close them hard at the end. Let your demo close for you through the whole deal. Okay? Now, so essentially, Jeremy, Carrie, we're using the same tools that Grandma and Great-Grandma used 100, 150 years ago. Would you agree?
Yes.
So if we really want it clean, we've got to use the water. All right. So can we take a look at your vacuum real quick?
Sure.
Would you get it? Or would you like me to help you?
Okay.
If they don't stand up right away, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to volunteer to help them get it. Because when I stand up, they're not going to let some stranger walk around their house to find their vacuum. They're going to get, I'll get it, don't worry. Okay, I see you guys have a Hoover. How long have you guys had the Hoover?
For about 2 years.
Okay, thank you. You can sit down if you want. First thing you want to do is what?
Plug it in.
Plug it in.
But make sure it's not on.
Yes.
That's right.
I've had that happen so many times. I'm going to plug it in, it's already on.
Yeah, make sure it's not on when you plug it in.
Yes, that's right. That's the old commercial. Plug it in, plug it in. All right, so guys, all vacuums have 4 basic parts. I'm normally sitting down, but for y'all trying to stand up and make this easier, you've got, and I'm going to point out to their 4 parts. You got the intake down here. You got a motor in here somewhere. You got a filter device. Now on this one, the filter device is in here, and you got a bag. Then down here, you got another filter at the bottom, and then you have another filter here on the side of this. We'll get all that in just a minute. And then, what's the 4th one say on there, Jeremy? At the top of the page is the exhaust. The exhaust, thank you. Get your customer involved, okay? And now you're going to find the exhaust by turning it on. And can you feel that air coming out of there? Okay. What else can you tell?
Smell.
Okay. I didn't say it, but they did. And because it smells, we have the opportunity to talk about this a little bit more. So there's your 4 basic parts, all right? As we go through this, it goes on to say that vacuum cleaners actually contribute to unhealthy living conditions. Why? Bacteria thrive and multiply in warm, dark, filthy places. Now, Carrie, where do you keep your vacuum?
Usually in the utility closet.
In the closet, a perfect place for it. It's warm in there, right? Is it dark? You don't need the light on for it?
No.
Poor vacuum. So it's warm, dark, and the filthiest stuff in your home is inside this container, isn't it? The perfect breeding ground for germs and bacteria. Now, if your milk goes bad, how do you know it's bad?
Smell.
By the smell. That's what it says here. It says bacteria often the source of objectionable odors. Okay? So that's not dirt that you're smelling. People often think it's the dirt that's in the bag. Those are germs and bacteria that are in here. Okay? Now, if I took this filter and I took it outside of your house and we put a fan in the window and I was shaking it and blew it in there, would that make any sense?
No.
But yet we spend, how long do you clean?
Usually about a good hour, hour and a half.
Okay? So you're doing the same thing for an hour and a half with this thing, just pumping it throughout your entire house. Okay? And then each time you use it, just like you just said, we're blowing the odors, dust, dirt, germs, filth, and bacteria back into the air. All right, so now, Dr. Sam was a leading American allergist. and he wrote a book titled Why Your House May Endanger Your Health. One of the excerpts says right here, don't use dusters, mops, or brooms. They scatter dust. So there's a doctor's order. Your wife doesn't have to dust anymore. Just kidding. Okay? It goes on to say that most vacuum cleaners pollute more than they clean. They suck in the dirt from surfaces, then blow through the filters into the air, and because they're very small size, end up in our nose or our lungs, and that's what sets off asthma and allergy attacks. All right, now, let's get back to the basics right here. Yours has this bag in here. And by the way, how long have you all had this vacuum?
He said about 2 years.
Okay, and what kind did you have before this one?
It was another good thing.
Yeah.
And how long did it last?
Not long. About a year and a half.
So you gave him a second chance?
Yeah.
Okay. And the year and a half one, the second one back, how long, what kind did you have before that one?
The Dyson.
Dyson. So you had a bagless, and that's where I was going with this. Which one did you like better, the bag or the bagless vacuum? And why?
Not so much maintenance.
Okay, so you just get to dump it and go on your way? Okay. Well, I'm here to explain to you today that all vacuums are the same. They have the same 4 parts we just talked about, whether they're bag or bagless, but they all have filters. They all leak dust, dirt, germs, filth, and bacteria. So let's take a look real quick. I'm going to shine my light in here. And we should be able to see, maybe, can't see too much light coming through that at all, can we? Maybe a little bit right here at the top. The only reason I'm doing that is to show you that the bag or the filter is made of a porous material, meaning full of holes. Okay? If we put a balloon in here, this thing couldn't clean very well because eventually you blow up and explode, right?
Right.
So they have to put holes in it, Jeremy, so that the air will seep through it. Now, if air can't escape, air can't come in, and then a vacuum can't do what?
Can't work.
Really?
Can't clean, work, pick up, suck, whatever they say is absolutely correct. Now, down here, a lot of people don't know that there's filters in here. If you didn't, it's okay. It's just part of my job to show you. We have another filter. This one protects the motor because, again, the stuff seeps out of the bag and then goes through the motor. So they want to protect the motor with this little thing. I don't know what that's supposed to do, but you can see light shining through this one, right? Again, made of a porous material. But if air is escaping, what else is escaping?
Dust.
Exactly. And then we have one last filter on here. Now this is almost like something you'd wash your dishes with, a big old Brillo pad, right? And you see that black stuff on here. Again, it's made of a porous material, and if air is escaping, so is all that stuff. Okay? Now, the thing I want to show you with this vacuum is all this black stuff. I'm not even going to look, but I'm going to assume, I probably bet you $100 that there's black stuff on my fingers, yes? That's called carbon brush dust. Carbon brush dust escapes from vacuum cleaners, so they put this filter here to protect you along with all the other dust, dirt, germs, filth, and bacteria that come into the air. But that's an oily residue, and I can try and wipe it off, and most of it's probably still on my fingers, correct? Okay. Put this back in together. Oh, I knew that was going to happen.
Very flat stones.
Wow.
Overcarded.
Okay.
The office is called.
All right, now what I'm going to do, this one I have to take. Pause, I'm sorry.
Ain't that comedian?
Man, I want to hear what Bob talked about.
He was awesome. You should have watched it.
Of course he is.
We,
Done.
What's the last thing I said?
you just
You
went through
were-
the filters and just put it all back
Oh,
together.
I showed the carbon brush
Yes.
dust.
Yes.
Okay, and I put it back together. Okay, that's the end of it.
Fantastic.
I'm teasing. All
We
right,
don't have to turn that on high.
so I'm gonna have my box near me. I'm gonna have the customer hold the handle. I'm gonna have this in between them. Okay? But I wanna make sure that I'm set up so that I'm close enough but not too far away. Can we kill the lights?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not bad to do this in the home either to get a good effect, guys, blowing the filth into the air because they can't really see it with all the extra light on. Now, you want to get on your knee like you're going to marry this sneaky, nasty thing? And you're going to hold your light directly over the exhaust. So guys, I'd like you to focus between my light and the exhaust right here. And let's see what happens, Carrie, every time you turn your vacuum on, okay? Here we go. Oh my gosh, you see that? Now without the light on, you can't see that, can you? If I turn the light back on, whoo, oh, and that smell, can you smell that? It smells like something died in there. Probably did, huh? How long did we just have that on? Maybe 10 seconds? Look at all the dirt we just blew in after 10 seconds. And you cleaned for an hour and a half. Imagine what the air looks like after an hour and a half of that. The good news is, Jeremy can chase you around with a rainbow, suck all that nasty stuff in there, trap it in the water, or put that nice, clean, fresh scent or whatever you like to smell right back into your home again. Doesn't that smell a lot better? Now, Jeremy, we know you don't do the cleaning, but if you did do the cleaning, after seeing what that thing just did, would you stand behind it anymore?
No, sir.
Does your wife have to?
Absolutely not.
Okay. And then the vacuum. All right, so let's go back one more time to vacuums have 4 basic parts: intake, motor, filter, device, and exhaust. Can you get me your other vacuum, please? I washed out all this dirt.
We still have the rainbow running up there, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Good, good, good.
My rainbow never goes off a low speed my whole demo, ever.
Good.
Never, ever. Oh, Kirby, this is a new one, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fantastic. How long have you had the Kirby?
A couple months.
Yep. This cup, actually, you only had this for about a month, actually, so you're not far off. And what type of vacuum did you have before this one?
Let's go with it.
The Hoover, okay. What made you decide to get a Kirby over the Hoover?
We want
Doesn't do
something
suction.
good.
Better suction.
Yeah, you ever lose suction?
Okay, that's good. You know, they talk about on TV how vacuum cleaners never lose suction. All I'm going to prove to you guys today that suction has nothing to do with how much the vacuum works or cleans, okay? So don't get mad at me a little bit, Jeremy. I'm just telling you the truth. The truth is good, right?
Sometimes it
Okay.
hurts.
Yep, but the truth helps. All right, so the first thing you want to do is plug in your vacuum here. And,
My tablet just says section versus
good guess. Okay. So you have 4 basic parts. We have an intake, a filter device being the a motor, which is here, a filter device being the bag, and then the exhaust. Now, on yours, let's just turn it on. Put your hand right there, you kind of feel the air coming out of it. Okay. In this case, the entire bag is the exhaust, Jeremy. So any vacuum cleaner that has an outer bag like this is the exhaust. Grandma's, you might remember Grandma's on the old broomstick handle, had the little spring wire thing hanging off it, and they had big holes like this big around in it. You should have seen the dirt below those things, man. It's like a volcano. Okay, now, it says vacuum cleaners actually contribute to unhealthy living conditions. Why? Bacteria thrive and multiply in warm, dark, filthy places, meaning the filter, or in this case, the bag. And then they're the source of objectionable odors. Each time you run your vacuum, you're emitting dust, dirt, germs, filth, and bacteria back into the air again. Well, Dr. Zam was a leading American allergist, and he wrote a book titled Why Your House May Endanger Your Health. One of the excerpts says, right here, don't use dusters, mops, or brooms because they scatter dust. It goes on to say that vacuum cleaners present a peculiar problem. They pick up the dust from surfaces, blow it through the filters into the air, and Jeremy and Carrie, because of their very small size, ends up our nose or our lungs, and for those that have allergies and asthma, it affects them even more. Okay? So let's just take a quick look at your vacuum here.
Okay.
You want to pull the whole bag out, guys, on the outer part of the bag here. Some of you can't see this, but you probably should come up here and see this because it's important, especially on this type of vacuum.
I'll put this on our
All right.
deal.
So when I shine my light in here, can you see some light shining through? A little bit, not too much. Okay, all filters are made of a porous material, meaning full of holes, right? So right now, no light shining through it. If air can't escape, how much? It's not going to be able to clean much, right?
Right.
Okay. In other words, if air can't go in through and out the vacuum, it can't pick anything up.
Right,
Why do you clean the lint trap in your dryer?
because it gets clogged.
It gets clogged. So you have to open those holes by removing so that air flows through there. Okay? And that's our key today, Jeremy, is airflow. They always teach us that suction cleans, but it's not. It's called airflow. And I'm going to prove that in a few minutes. Now, in addition to the paper bag, guys, you have this cloth bag on the outside, and you can clearly see the light shining through here. And whether it's there or over on this side, it's the same thing. Okay? All right. Patrick, can I get you to just come help here real quick? Because they're sitting right there. What you do is put the cone where the light goes in the hole of your box. So it balances the Kirby, okay, in this case. And the customer's going to hold the handle in this case, which I would normally have pushed over there. Again, we want it right between both of them. Gary, can you pull those lights? I'm going to block those sliders. Yep, go for that, thank you. All right, guys, if you'll focus between my light and this bag area, which is the exhaust, I want to show you what happens each time your vacuum gets turned on, all right? Now, I'm going to say something here because I don't know what's going to happen. Sometimes it looks like a volcano going off, and sometimes it doesn't because the holes are clogged. We already discovered that, right? So there may not be that much stuff coming out of here. So just be prepared. It might look like a volcano. I don't know. All right. So here we go. We're going to turn it on. Oh my gosh, look at that. Now without the light on, you can't see that. I turn it back on. There it is. You ever bumped into the cushion or the couch? Woo! You see all that there? How long do you think we just had that on? Maybe 10 seconds? Huh?
Maybe.
How, and you vacuumed for an hour and a half? Imagine what the air would look like after an hour and a half of that. See, Jeremy, again, can chase you around the house with a rainbow. Turn it on, suck all the dust, dirt, germs, filth, and bacteria in here, trap it in the water, but put that nice, clean, fresh scent or whatever you like to smell back into the air again. Now, Jeremy, we know you don't do the cleaning, but after seeing what that thing just did, if you did do the cleaning, would you stand behind it anymore?
No, sir.
Does your wife have to?